Hello, Gargoyle Nation. Welcome as always. And as always, I'm your host, Desi C. And so, yes, I already did a video on Gargoyles Easter eggs. And I mentioned a few things that you could find in Gargoyles and a whole bunch of other stuff where you could find Gargoyles Easter eggs in other shows. But since Disney and Marvel are the same company now, and with the Fantastic Four crossover, being a thing, I wanted to focus a little more on the interactions between Gargoyles and Marvel. Plus, I didn't really touch on it in the other video, so why not do this? And before we get down to the fun stuff, again, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell, comment, blah, blah, blah. Check out the Patreon, all that fun stuff. Anyway, so one of the big ones with, the connections between Gargoyles and Marvel is Xanatos, actually, who in earlier developments was named Xavier. And pretty much his name was changed because of the similarities between Professor Charles Xavier, aka Professor X, from X-Men. We have one Xavier. Better that we didn't have another one. And something I learned for doing the research for this video, Ultron was actually an inspiration for Coyote in regards to him being rebuilt and the number model being included in his name. So we have the first Coyote, just Coyote, and then we have Coyote 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now on to the episodes. So in The Silver Falcon, Broadway's trench coat and hat disguise is a tribute to Ben Grimm / The Thing of the Fantastic Four. See, and this is going to be fun, this crossover, on how he would disguise himself in public. Also, the way Broadway knocks out Dracon by flicking his fingers is also a classic thing. In Double Jeopardy, among other things, Thalog's color differences were inspired by the Fantastic Four's uniform changing colors due to their travels in the negative zone. I should have counted how many times the similarities specifically between Fantastic Four and Gargoyles happened. Should have done that. Anyway, in Hound of Ulster, Cuchulainn, I really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, / Rory Dugan, bears some resemblance to Thor / Donald Blake persona. And Greg Weisman kind of regrets the similarity. And it was funny, I knew of the Thor original look type thing. And I remember watching this episode for the first time as an adult and going, kind of looks like Thor. I wonder if that was done on purpose. Apparently not exactly done on purpose. It was a bit of an oops, but yeah, so. This one's a little obvious, and I hope everyone who's watched this episode had picked up on it. In Mark of the Panther, when attacking Anansi, Elisa calls him Spider-Man. Yeah, it's a little in your face on that one, but a reference to Spider-Man, I will never be disappointed. In Eye of the Storm, despite trying to avoid it, Odin's designs were slightly inspired by Jack Kirby's design for the character in The Mighty Thor. And again, we have another character kind of based on it, and you know what? They are both big, well, I should say all three, but for the Gargoyle specific characters, they are both big characters. They have capes. I guess it's just that thing of, unless you make huge differences, they're always going to look slightly similar, but anyway, moving forward. The New Olympians. The residents of New Olympus were influenced by the Eternals, the Inhumans, and DC's comics New Gods. Future tense. One of the influences of New York's condition was Days of Future Past, as seen in Uncanny X-Men number 141 and 142. And I'm telling you, trying to find this image was a nightmare, but you can definitely see the similarities in between the two. In Strangers, so yes, now on to the comics. When discussing the designs for the Tasmanian tiger, Greg discussed that his initials on the costume were similar to Daredevil's initials interlocking. And you know what? It works. Why try and make something totally different if, you know, it works for one character, yeah? And in the gate, the building that Brooklyn finds the Phoenix Gate on is the Daily Bugle, which I did mention in my prior video. And last but not least, Ken Hazer, and apologies if I am mispronouncing that, who has done several covers for the Gargoyles Dynamite series, has done quite a few homages to older Marvel comic covers. And I love them. I love that they, like, I don't know if he was asked to do it or he wanted to do it or what. Clearly he was allowed to do it. I love it. I love the callback. I love that they took something that was popular so many amount of years, because obviously all these Marvel issues came out different years, and, you know, subtly bringing it back. If you're not a Marvel fan, you just see it as a cool Gargoyles comic cover. And if you are a Marvel fan, you're looking at this going, oh my gosh, I know where they got this from. Some, of course, yeah, like I said, will recognize them off the bat. Others, like me, need to be shown. I wasn't a comic book reader as a kid. I know I had a handful of them. They were random. I don't even remember the titles. If I ever find them. One day, hopefully, maybe. Although this one did seem familiar to me, but I couldn't completely remember the original cover until I actually saw it. The way the gargoyles were posed, I'm like, this is looking like something. And thankfully, you know, I found this one, like, oh, that's where that's from. And yes, so that is it for this one. This one was a little bit of a quickie, but, you know, boom. And also shout out to one of my girlfriends who, if you know, paid any attention to the thumbnail of this video, let me borrow her bobblehead Deadpool. I unfortunately am very low on Marvel figures, and they're also the handful that I have are packed away somewhere. So thank you for letting me borrow him. He came in handy, and he will be safe on my desk here, don't worry. And with that, like I said, check out the Patreon, like, hit the bell, all that stuff. And be kind to yourselves, be kind to one another, and be the good that you want to see in the world. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye.